Hello?
Hello! Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes! Rusk!
Hello, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I am Razim, and this is Rooms and Reptiles, Dungeons and Dragons. Dova, our DM, if you would take it from here.
Will do. Last time on Rooms and Reptiles. Well, we did it. We defeated the evil that Ayastal had recruited us to help with. The usurper was sacrificed for the final blow when we were evacuated, eventually making it back to the airship that we are now in control of. After regrouping, though, we learned that Sully never made it out. Instead, we now have this lizard folk person that I still don't trust. We now have a stranger stuck with us, and the airship is broken down. We have to fix it. We have to fix it before it sinks. But there is good news for a rogue like me. We gained access to Ayastal's hoard. I wonder if Cobalt can create a dimension just to store this loot. So, after defeating the great evil below the land, the party now recuperates and repairs whatever loot they've earned. Continuing on, Rooms and Reptiles this session. It is currently nighttime, and you all have settled into your rooms for a quick nap. Less of a quick nap, more of a coma, as you all had been awake for quite a long time at this point. Eric's, you're basically passed out next to the breach in the hull. Some of the crewmen kobolds who are still awake have sort of brought you to a sort of a warm place and draped some blankets over you. Infel, I believe you are currently napping inside of your small temple that you drafted. Cobalt, you're passed out within your room.
Nope.
Actually, no, you're not passed out within your room. You're passed out inside your ritual chamber.
No,
Snoring
Infel
inside
brought me
your
to
room.
his...
Yeah?
Yeah, remember at the
Alright.
end?
Alright. But yeah, you are inside their room then. I believe Rok-Rok is like the... Rok-Rok and Ray are like... Sorry, Rok-Rok and Raku are the only people who are actually inside their own rooms during the night. And so you and Infel are sleeping in the same room then, Cobalt?
I suppose. I mean, I usually pick a random person anyway.
You two, and can you actually speak through your phone, Infel? Take that as no.
Seems not.
Alright. Well, I guess we'll come back to that later. Actually, no, we really can't.
Well, while we're waiting for Infel to respond, Anir does have a question. How long did the Titan battles take, anyways?
About the course of a full day. Not, it wasn't complete fighting for 24 hours, but the time you were fighting in that small Ayastal's pirate encampment, as well as just getting to the usurper, fighting on the way down, and then fighting within the core, that would have taken a good while. At least, I'd say 5 or 6 hours. Which, being combat, is extremely strenuous for you.
Yeah. It's a very long process.
Yes.
Oh, hey, Dova. You need to correct the silver and copper pieces, too.
Did I not get those right either?
No, you kept pulling from the divided ones, not the total.
Yeah, it did.
So we do have some redemptions. I kept forgetting about Bueasels, but he leveled up his Zelda Bard to level 7. And Anir has redeemed a game-breaking ethereal influence. I'm not sure if he spoke with you, Dova, about this.
Yep, I saw it. I'm still figuring out ways to actually implement it.
Okay. I will hold off on accepting it then for the meantime.
Okay.
Or should I go ahead and just let him get it?
I would probably hold off for now.
Okay.
Since we still have nothing from Infel right now, we're just gonna go ahead with it, and we'll say that Infel was in a different room at this time. So, during the night, could you give me a Constitution check, Cobalt?
I didn't hear what you said. You must have
Could you
cut
give
out.
me a Constitution check, please, Cobalt?
Okay, thank you. It seemed like you were silent for a second when you said my name.
Alright, that's good. So, sometime during the night, you're awoken. You kind of look around for a moment to figure out why, and you realize that it's something coming from your pack. You sort of look to where it seems that Infel sort of set your stuff off to the side, and you can see it kind of clanking around. There's some sort of a reddish light emanating from within the satchel, and this is the satchel where you keep the tuner, you realize. There's a deep humming, almost a vibrating, just resonating throughout this room.
Alright, I'm gonna mage hand the tuner to.
Alright? As you sort of move over on the bed and reach over with your arcane hand, it's almost pulled from your grip as this vibrations are getting more and more intense, more hectic. You eventually manage to bring it over to yourself, and you realize, could you give me an Arcana check?
Yep. Good one.
It's something that you've not seen before, but trying to look at it while the tuner is bouncing around in your hands, you realize that it's a signal of some sort. It's a concentrated effort to make something's location known, maybe to you in particular. But you notice that the gem which you stored the part of Ayastal's soul in, it's hot to the touch, almost burning.
I'm gonna try to look.
Sorry, could you say it again? You cut out.
I'm gonna try to look through it, if possible.
You look through it and you see that it is coming from somewhere far, far away. Although you can't really tell. Well, you can't really tell where that is.
Can I try to put a first level spell slot in it? See if that'll activate it or something?
Alright.
That
Go
seems
ahead and spend that spell slot.
Okay.
Nothing really seems to change. The vibrating, though, it seems to calm down, though. Perhaps you've stabilized the signal somewhat.
I'm gonna try to look through it again then.
Alright. You see it's a bit clearer now. It's somewhere far off in the distance. Definitely not on this plane, though.
Hmm.
Right now, since you have no real references, you have no idea where it might be in the real world.
I don't know. How about I try casting Blink and go to the ethereal plane?
Sure. You
Um,
do so. Can you still interact with objects while on the immaterial plane?
Yeah, and stuff I'm holding or carrying goes with me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look through it there.
The humming that it was making fades into a sort of a faint echo. Again, it's far, far off in the distance. It's not currently on the plane which the tuner resides on now either. Definitely on the material plane.
Okay, so that's good news. In that case, I'm gonna try another level 1 spell slot to see if it stabilizes.
Oh, the signal is fairly stabilized right now, though it is fading. You might only have a limited amount of time before it disappears. As far as you can tell, that fading is beyond your control right now.
I'm not sure what I could possibly do to get to retrieve the signal. So wait, what exactly do I see through the tuner? Like
It's-
a blurry or faded image or something?
No, it's not really an image of anything. It's sort of that amalgamate of various magical strings somewhere far off in the distance that's specifically manipulated to try to contact this tuner. And
Alright,
at the
so-
same time, the gem which contains that fragment of Ayastal's soul, which you sort of plucked out, is burning almost hot to the touch.
I'm gonna try pressing the gem like a button.
Doing so just really makes it glow hotter. Although, once you do so, you hear a slight rustling inside the pack.
I'm gonna try to figure out what's rust. And quickly.
The signal continues to fade as you look through the pack. Although you do find the source of it. Your automatic map was moving slightly.
I will open it up.
As you open it up, there's a flash of activity as the tuner is pulled out of your hand. It floats above the map for a brief moment before the scales on the back of your neck stand on end almost. There's a rippling of arcane energy throughout the room as a lightning bolt, a genuine lightning bolt, lances out from it onto the map. And with that, the tuner kind of shakes in midair for a second before dropping onto the ground directly on the map, inert.
Can I try to catch it?
Give me a dexterity saving throw since I assume, from the lightning, you'd maybe jump back a little bit.
Ah.
It clunks onto the map, not really damaging either.
Okay.
However, everyone is now awake as a genuine, honest-to-God lightning bolt struck within your house.
I'm assuming that I would not be since I'm not actually in it.
Yes, you would not be awake.
Okay.
But Rok-Rok, Raku, and Infel are awake now.
Alright, sorry, keep
okay.
going.
No, I thought of something different.
Okay, what does the map say then?
As the smoke starts to clear, there is a burning hole in the map on the very, very southwest corner of it. Can you give me a history check?
Oh. Where's Man, okay, I'm gonna lucky that one.
That's better. You remember that that's where the island of Chult used to be. Now, Chult is it's an untamed land.
Kill it! It's evil!
Come on. I was in the middle of talking there, Eric's. So, Chult is an untamed land. The jungles are filled with beasts. There's multiple rumors of sort of evil entities that have set up their homes there. Once there was even a rumor that the mountain ranges were actually the spikes on the Tarask's back. It's
Dove, I'm
not a
not
fun
sure if
place
you
to be.
noticed, but Digi has posted in the channel.
Oh, yes. Let me look. As you're sort of looking over this, Infel storms in, almost as he pushes the door in. It almost slams against the wall, yelling out and sort of looking around, panicked. Child, what has happened?
I hold up the map sadly and say, the tuner burned a hole in my map.
As your bottom lip quivers.
Can I try to cast mending on it?
Sure.
And if
Since
possible,
it-
I want to keep a burn, like a slate burn mark there.
Okay, since it is a magical item, go ahead and roll Arcana. That's good enough.
Sweet.
As you try to recreate the missing part as best as you can. It's a little rough, but it's very clearly labeled as Chult. And you do keep that slight burn mark around it. So it is kind of haphazardly circled.
Cool.
As Infel just responds to you. I'm sorry for your loss.
Okay, and then I'm gonna yawn again. What time is it? I know exactly what time it is.
You reckon that you might have 3 hours left until it's time to wake up.
Alright. So how's the tuner look, by the way? I know you said it wasn't damaged, but does it seem like it still functions?
It's a bit scorched. But as you kind of bring it into your hands and wipe the soot off, it seems to still function. Although that
Dova.
signal has been completely lost.
Dova, wizards don't wipe soot off. They use
As you wipe it off with your
prestidigitation.
prestidigitation powers,
Please, Dova. And the soul
as
shard,
the
the soul
tuner
fragment.
explodes into 1,000 fragments, all of them
no.
disappearing into another dimension.
Well, you have someone else to talk. You have someone else to talk to about that. Someone else is gonna be mad. Is I saw soul fragment still in one piece?
Yes. It
Okay.
has cooled off, though.
Awesome. I'm gonna put them both back in my bag and go back to sleep.
Raku and Rok-Rok, you would have heard all this. And you are awake as you hear the stomping of rather heavy claws through the hallway just outside your door.
I'm gonna dash over to that because I can only assume that it's Infel. Why?
Eric's, please.
Oh,
I stay in
sorry,
my
I
room.
didn't realize I still... Well, that was a follower alert sound.
It's gonna
so-
take more than just loud noises.
To wake up Rok-Rok.
No, the lightning woke him up. Or did that not?
The lightning woke him up. It's really hard for anyone to sleep through a lightning strike
Yeah.
50 feet away.
I meant to get me out of my room.
As you basically just roll over and go back to sleep.
Yeah, I hearing the heavy claws, which I know none of us are heavy, so I assume that it's Infel. I'm gonna dash over to the sound, wondering what the hell he did.
You run into the room, and now that the smoke has sufficiently cleared, both of you see that there is a very sizable scorch mark around a spot on the floor. It seems that maybe a small object was within that, as there is a very stark, clean spot. In addition, you guys are seeing Cobalt as he's sort of getting ready for bed again, and you see that the entire front of his body is just blackened, with 2 bright white spots where his eyes are.
Cobalt, what
Basically
happened?
looks like a cartoon.
What happened to what?
You.
What are you talking about?
There was lightning. There are scorch marks everywhere.
And this is weird to you?
Yes, this hasn't happened before. I can expect it to happen again, but it hasn't yet.
So, he's gonna gently mage hand the map back out of the bag and hand it to him. The
Alright.
tuner zapped my map and made a mark there.
A Cholt?
I don't know where that is, but I know of it. Well, I guess I know where it is now.
Yeah, Raccoon knew about Cholt before, so.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm guessing this might be that might be where Sully and Ayastal.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's gonna crawl back up in the blankets.
Set the map down, and I'll head back to my room.
You have a kind of a hard time going back to bed as your tinnitus is acting up for some reason, Cobalt.
I'm gonna mage hand. No, not mage hand. Prestidigitation silence somehow, probably.
Alright, you basically manually calm down your eardrums with your prestidigitation to make a sort of soothing sound of waves within your room. Alright, as you guys slowly calm down and head back to bed. And, Infel, do you mean that you're going to sleep in this room or back in your own room? Oh no, wait, you're sleeping in this room as well. As Infel is going to climb into bed on the opposite side. Cobalt having curled up on one of the pillows, barely taking up any space.
Like a
Morning.
cat, basically. Large cat.
Basically, yeah. Covered in soot. Morning eventually does come, and you guys feel very well rested. The toll of the battle before was rather heavy, and you guys are starting to feel that now. You guys are sore as all hell, and you basically sleep until noon. As you very slowly wake up, you already smell the sense of lunch or perhaps a brunch being prepared in the main hall, as well as the very quiet din of multiple kobolds just conversing among each other. Alright. You are now all awake at full HP. What do you all do?
You could do the full rest, the long rest in the combat
I already
tracker.
did.
Oh. Usually it
Yep.
says so.
Yep, it did. I did it a while ago.
Yeah, he did it at the beginning of the stream.
Okay. Okay.
I
Um,
guess.
Actually, I'll do it again since Cobalt used those spell slots.
Oh, I think.
So, continue.
I guess I'll grab Rok-Rok and Cobalt, and we'll head back to the vault.
Did you guys fix your gold amounts?
I did.
I did.
Yep.
Indeed.
There we go. Awesome. Yeah, I just need to press the refresh button. Rok-Rok, are you sure you did yours?
Yeah, I'm
Check
pretty
all
sure.
of them.
Eric's is gonna go. He's a little sore from sleeping on the deck, but he's gonna wander in and grab some breakfast before coming back out to inspect the status of his repairs and such yesterday.
Okay. It is a very, very heavy breakfast today. Basically, a lot of beef, pork, eggs. It sort of shifted into a working man's lunch.
Like a
Or
fisherman's
working
breakfast.
man's breakfast. Yes. Super heavy, meant to stick with you for a long time. Lots of calories. Ah, that is correct, Rok-Rok. Did not take that into account. So, and as Eric's, you head out to survey the repairs. The boat is not listing anymore. Most of the water has been removed from the bilge, and the hull itself has been haphazardly patched with bits of boarding and sort of thin wood planks. It's not watertight, but it'll serve as a shield against large waves and such. It does seem that there might be some weather on the horizon. There's a sort of an uneasy wind blowing in, and the surf is beginning to become choppy. I believe I did. Raku?
Okay.
Actually, I might not have.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
Did I tell you exactly?
you didn't say anything.
Did I say anything to? Well, you should have that. I told Rok-Rok about it, so I'll give you what you claimed.
Okay.
Rok-Rok, did you tell him exactly how much you were sharing with him? I'll go ahead and just add I'll add it to your inventory, Raku.
Okay.
So yes, minor patching has been done, though there is still a lot of work to be done in that regards. In that regard, not regards. Sorry.
I'm gonna go look for the rest of the group to confer on where we should go next. Do we have any idea where we are exactly on the Faerun map?
Yes, actually. Let me bring up that map for you.
I've already got it up, actually, but...
Share it with the rest of everyone. Where is it? Map Faerun.
I mean, considering where we were,
Pull me up.
the most direct route to the ocean would be right next to Candlekeep.
Yes, you guys are just north of the land's mouth.
Oh, we're not actually in the ocean.
Not really. It's a sea, which is kind of like an ocean.
Okay.
You share the map?
Yes. Sorry about that.
And where was it that we needed to go if we wanted to get the airship part fixed?
You were instructed that there's sort of a burgeoning repair industry in the, I believe it was Mirabar.
Which is...
Mirabar is to the north. I'll try to find it on this map. Find the spine. There it is. It's fairly far north. Almost a direct shot north from Waterdeep, actually.
Oh, over on the west.
Yes, far, far northwest.
Now, in the Forgotten Realms lore, there is a another place that is known. I think it's Kalimshan.
Kalimshan does have that, although you were not made aware of it in character.
Yeah. Jeez, that's a long way for us to try and get the ship there. Though it looks like we might be able to go from the Sea of Fallen Stars over down to the south through the Lake of Salt and then into the ocean itself. That's going to be a really long voyage, though.
Oh, hell yes, it will be. You got your pirate music ready? Serious.
I have some stuff.
That's good.
Well, yeah, I'm looking for the others. Calling out for them and stuff.
Okay.
Because we do
As you
kind of need
guys
to
all
figure out where we're going to go.
filter out and have a very, very hearty breakfast. Eric's going to call you all over for a meeting.
Meeting?
Yes. A confluence, a conference.
Now, just to make sure, we are aware in character of where we are, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You've had your navigator has reported that this is probably where you are. You can see landmarks on the shore, as well as there is actually a sextant on board, so they were able to figure that out.
One of our kobolds is a sextant?
You know what a sextant is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, they're kobolds.
I was thinking... Yes, I
This is
know
your
what a
fault this time,
sextant
Eric.
is. I was more referring to we have somebody that can read a sextant or use it.
That's what he said. None of you guys really know any better, so
Cobalt has that auto map, doesn't he?
that he does.
And
Yeah.
I know the cardinal direction.
Rok-Rok hasn't done a lot of sailing, so.
Hmm.
I mean, he's good on boats because he's been on ships before. He's just never. He's better at landmass. Like, he's better at, like, if you strand him in the middle of a desert, he's fine. But if you strand him in the middle of the ocean, he has hard time telling where's what
Mhm.
because he just doesn't have a lot of experience with that.
So, like, don't you really just to navigate yourself? Don't you really just need, like, to know which way north is and know which way you're going?
Water disorients
You would
him.
need a fairly decent way of tracking time or speed, as well as distance, to know exactly where you are. You would need a map which has a good set of landmarks, or a sort of a way of navigating by the stars would also work. But
I guess,
in that
like,
you would also need a good way of measuring time past the position of the sun.
Alright, has any, okay, so, I assume we do have an actual map of Faerun, just like this one?
Cobalt is a very detailed one.
Okay.
No, I'm assuming he meant like in like a navigator's quarters. There's a map.
Well, I was meaning, I don't care who has it or where it is, so long as it exists with us to be able to actually look at.
Yes, you guys have at least one map.
Okay. So I'm gonna point out some of those, towns near where we are. Has anybody heard of any of these and know whether they can help repair the ship and maybe if they've got a good dock industry?
I mean, Cormy, or is it Cormair?
Cormier.
Cormier. That's more
Cormier.
of the name of a region.
No, I know. I'm
sorry, I
saying.
thought you were
referring
saying
to
an
like
actual town.
Suzail
No, yeah.
and Marsember.
Oh, I only know the region because this is where Spellbane is really prominent. So that's as far as I'm sure for that alchemical property. There might be a good town around here. I'm sure there's a dock in this sea.
Yeah, I think what our best option is go to Suzail there to the north first, see about dock or ship repairs, see if any of them might be able to offer some more convenient options for repairing an airship. Maybe some gossip and such. Raku, that would probably be your specialty for gathering.
Yep.
And maybe hire on a couple of
Shipwright.
yeah, basically all those different things that we would need. Because while we know a bit, we don't know enough.
And the kobolds have a good idea, like good enough to keep the ship running. Just from learning from the other crew members.
Yeah, we can keep it running, but I'd rather have some more experienced people on hand just in case we do need them.
Now, so the map you're looking at is going to be Cobalt's magic map that fills itself with details as you go along, and you'll see that there's a big scorch mark at Chol.
I think that magic map is a lot smaller than that. I thought it was only like, I kind of figured it was only like a league around us or so.
Oh, you mean like a mini-map kind of thing?
Kind of, yeah.
It is more like that.
A mini-map?
Oh.
It doesn't have any information sort of past the actual borders of the map. And either way, the area which the farthest that it reaches is a squiggly sort of lake towards the southwest. There's no actual name for it on the map yet, but matching it up with the large navigational map you have in the captain's quarters, you see that it matches up with Lake Esmil.
Oh, we've gone to the captain's quarters?
So the
If
map-
you were to go to the captain's quarters with that large map.
Well, then, yeah, we would have, because we're trying to figure out where we're going. So,
So wait, where are we exactly?
you see that green pin on the map, Faerun?
Oh, now I do. I didn't at first.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where we are. So,
That's where commoner is. It says so if you hover over it.
Mm.
And we
Yeah.
are not commoners.
I think that's just what he named it. Either way,
Yeah.
Oh,
so how far does this magic map reach?
Roughly to Lake Esmil.
Wow, that's
Towards
quite a
the
distance.
southwest.
then how is there a scorch mark where Cholton?
It's an excellent point.
so Dova, what I
Son of
thought
a
this
gun.
was, I thought my map was an entire map of Faerun, but like just the topography, and then it filled in details as we passed.
Mhm.
That's what I thought a magic map was the whole time.
I'll elaborate a bit more on this so I don't catch myself up in it later, I guess.
Okay.
So, when it did that scorch mark, the paper itself didn't move, but the features on it did. You're not exactly sure how to move the features yourself, but
So it might be logical.
actually-
It might be logical to assume that the tuner somehow moved the map to show it.
yes.
Okay.
And
But of course Eric
shortly
has no idea,
afterwards, shortly afterwards, the features on the map have sort of scrolled back to show your current location.
So yeah, we will sail to Suzale. I've got a bit of money here to hire some deckhands on, but I don't know what the actual cost will be for such a long voyage. Whatever his name is, Shuluth told us is that we need to get to Mirabar to actually get the ship repaired. The airship
It
portion.
is one of the places, yes.
What else did he mention?
He mentioned that any of the large port cities might also provide some repairs. It would depend on where the airship was actually built. Mirabar could probably repair it nevertheless, but if you find the place where it was built, it'll probably help it. And you could probably repair it there.
Well, we are close to where... So we can probably find out where it was built here in Suzale.
Probably, yes.
Because after all, we're right next to where it was based at, and I would assume that the base would be at least somewhat close to... I would assume that the pirates would have made their base somewhat close to where they would need to go to get repairs.
Yes.
So,
That is a logical conclusion.
first stop, Suzale. How much money do you guys have as far as stuff to goes? Because so I can figure out what we can hire and such. Because we can at least we should be able to at least get the repairs on the ship there. Not the airship portion, but the actual, that giant gaping hole in the side.
Oh, the hole's just for ventilation and air breeze.
There is a breeze coming through it.
I'd prefer to have it patched up. Well, I am sure I'll have enough. We'll go ahead and sail there. I guess I'll head out and start organizing the kobolds to get the sales and such going to go to Suzelle.
Alright. Does anybody know how to captain the ship?
Um,
I
I would.
think as far as reading and book experience goes, I have the most out of the party. I doubt any of our kobolds do, because they were kind of in the. Go ahead, Rok-Rok.
Rok-Rok has led squads before, so he could technically captain, but it would be weird since he's not really familiar with the ship. Like he can lead.
So you'd make a good first mate.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good at talking to people. I'm charismatic. I'm not always a liar.
Hey, Dova,
It's not
Can
Captain.
can you put the date in the log real quick?
Yes. The current date is.
Captaining a ship isn't about charisma. It's about being able to direct the operations of the ship and run it. Eric's has in characterly read, like, I want to say like 6 books on shipbuilding and sailing and all of those other things.
And I think Eric's had read to Rok-Rok about sailing too. One
Cobalt
time.
for Captain 1512.
Oh yeah. Is that why you wanted to know the date?
Yes.
I mean, it's up to you guys. Who wants to be captain? Who should we have actually captain the ship here?
I mean, Rok-Rok would step up.
Does the captain actually legitimately need to know everything there as much as possible about sailing a boat? Or does he just have to be good at ordering people around and giving commands?
Out of character, I do not know much about actually sailing a ship. But I do know a bit about running a business, which I would assume this is pretty similar. And
You would also have read a bit in your books.
Okay, well then what would the
So-
book say?
There needs to be a captain. Absolutely 100% every
No.
single book you
No, I
read
know,
agrees
but I'm
on
saying, does the captain need to have extensive
that. I'm
boat knowledge?
getting there.
Okay.
Since the captain is in charge, at least the bare minimum of every single aspect of his ship's operation should be understood well. So that if something goes wrong, he knows what should be done. His job is not necessarily to steer the ship, it's to make sure that the ship gets to its location in one piece.
Originally,
So
my
that
idea.
means finding the right person to do each task.
So to answer your question, Cobalt, yes, they would need to have experience.
Okay. Because originally my idea would have been to nominate the elder kobold, just because he's probably good at giving instructions to the other kobolds. But
Yeah.
if he's not a boatman, then it's not going to work. So just do Eric's.
To your knowledge, Eric's someone who's good at giving orders and making people follow them. That is actually the first mate.
Yeah, I figured. So yeah, I will captain either Rok-Rok or the Elder Kobold, who we really need to give a name. We need to give him a name.
Elderbold.
Well, I would
Edward.
assume he already has a name, so Dova?
Steve.
Give me a moment. I actually have his name written down somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Is it Steve?
No.
I mean, we've had these kobolds for months now, and we still haven't figured out his name, so... While he's looking that up, Anir, we will stop somewhere else, as we've been discussing, we'll stop somewhere else for actual repairs to make the ship seaworthy. The long voyage is more for making it airworthy.
Uh-oh.
What?
Nothing.
He lost his mouse.
I'll tell you later. So, his name, the Elder Kobold, his name actually turns out to be Gort. He's fairly old for a kobold at a relatively seasoned 25 years. And has been leading this particular sect for about 15 of those years.
Damn, if he's old by Cobalt standards, Rok-Rok is freaking ancient.
Well, old by
Guys-
kobold standards, I mean, kobolds
Guys-
live to be 100. It's just they don't
Yeah,
usually
that's-
make it that far.
There's a difference between lifespan and expectancy. I was telling you guys from the beginning that you guys were super old by Cobalt standards.
Yeah.
This
That's
old
why-
by kobold
But not
standards, that means they're fairly experienced.
Alright, so...
Smart enough to make it this far.
And by that extension, Cobalt is an adult.
Doesn't
Kind
the
of.
first mate get an assistant?
If you want. On larger ships, there's a whole complicated chain of command.
Yeah.
But on smaller ships, it's usually the captain and then like a handful of other guys.
Well, so Eric's will be the captain. Gort will be the first mate. Rok-Rok, if you could help him, that would be fantastic.
Rok-Rok would help.
Gort is appreciative.
Alright.
Rok-Rok and Gork.
Hell yeah. Blood brothers.
I have the
Yep.
feeling that Dova planned that from the start. Little do we know, the entire campaign has led up to this one moment where Dova wanted Rok-Rok and Gort to work together.
Think I wouldn't?
Actually, I could see you doing exactly that.
So, continuing on. So I meant for you guys to actually continue on. 'Cause I don't have anything to say right now.
Eric's will go out, make those announcements about, captain, first mate, etc. And start barking out orders to get the ship underway to Suzail.
Alright. The preparation to make the ship sail goes rather well, actually. Other than the gaping hole in the side, there's little else that needs to be done. And after the sails are eventually brought up, you find yourself underway towards the north, towards the port city of Suzail. Alright, you've got about 1 day until the ship will arrive. What do you do until then?
Eric's will busy himself going around the ship and offering what knowledge he has from the books. I mean, book smarts and actual, street smarts is the best term for that. They're different, but still.
I believe these are called sea smarts.
Yeah, probably. Books versus experience are two different things. But
Wisdom and
hopefully
intelligence.
it's enough to at least get us to where we're going.
Yes. you think that's, you know, probably correct. Could you give me
Yeah,
a
Rok-Rok idea.
sailing skill check? We're gonna use wisdom with half proficiency.
So that will be 6. Do I get advantage for my book reading?
No, that's the
Aw.
half proficiency.
Oh,
Very wobbly course. You try your hand at actually tracking, but you give up as Cobalt's map is a much easier solution to that. And yeah, your course is very wobbly and sort of nonsensical at first, but eventually it does iron out. In regards to crew morale, it is fairly high. It's a cool experience, all this. Sorry. And the crew is just super happy to be just well fed. Don't know how long that optimism is gonna last, though.
it's only
All
a
right,
day.
yeah. Cobalt, what are you doing? And you're gonna arrive the following morning, not in the evening.
Okay, well, if everyone's awake, I believe Rok-Rok and Raku are gonna take me somewhere.
We're gonna just have the rest of the group come with us to the vault.
You want to do that now?
Yeah, I mean we might as
Yeah.
well before we get into town.
There we go.
Okay, so we're basically just gonna split that shit up.
Except I don't know why you're giving it to the lizard folk. We don't know him.
Yeah, and characterly, we would at least. Well, Eric still doesn't know about it.
I mean, we literally just saved him. We have no idea who he is. So I know Raku's gonna have no interest in giving him any.
I don't think Rok-Rok would fight him anyway.
Yeah, we're inviting the group. He's not a part of the group. He can't sit with us.
Because even though Rok-Rok, like, hasn't murdered him and weared his skin as a coat yet, he hasn't fully trusted this new handbag yet, so he wouldn't let him in on this cash.
Yeah, especially everything that we found in here. We just let him keep praying in his little room.
A slight glimmer broadcast the location of a hearty fucking pile of loot just inside the doorway. Guys,
Yes.
you gotta get this figured out.
Yep. I would say I would probably point to Cobalt
Yeah, have Cobalt identify everything.
and just go hatchling and then make the hand gestures of just everywhere, like identify.
Yeah, I'll translate.
Yes. Translate Rok-Rok knees.
Yeah.
All right. So, Cobalt, do you spend the time to identify everything? Cobalt, if you're trying to talk, you cannot because you are muted.
You are correct. I've actually been trying to talk for the past couple minutes. But I'm gonna ritual cast identify because I
All
don't
right.
have it.
There's a lot of things.
You'd
So,
just be able to put it in the group loop thing.
I'm going to start identifying all the things.
Sweet. Are you gonna tell us as you identify them?
Yes, there is a dancing scimitar, a +1 glaive, gloves of swimming and climbing, a +1 great club, a +2 halberd.
Oh.
Um, something that you can barely take your hands off of to do the next thing, which is a manual of stone golems.
I'm not even gonna take my hands off. I'm gonna set it in my lap.
I definitely
As I go through
need the
everything.
manual.
There are 3 +1 scimitars, a +2 scimitar. All of them are more like cutlasses than anything else. And I believe that is it for all the magical items, actually.
The musket's not magical?
No, the musket is not magical.
Oh, man.
I'd probably
Gold bird cage with electrical filigree isn't magic.
It is expensive, though.
Aw. Can't look at the image of the
I think
manual stone
Rok-Rok
golem.
will take those gloves of swimming and climbing.
Do you
I'll-
really need it though? I thought that was a strength-based thing.
Also has disadvantage on a lot of those from his armor.
I thought it was just disadvantage on stealth.
Actually, you might be right. I think they did thankfully take away that nonsense.
Yes, heavy armor just gives disadvantage on stealth. However,
Yeah.
if you are swimming, there will definitely be some disadvantages due to
Wait.
weight, due to whatever type of armor you're wearing. If you're wearing heavy cloth armor, for example, it'll be made quite a bit harder.
I'll take the...
Well, Also, because his
Oh, we also need to
Also-
know what.
And some
Sorry.
of you don't even know how to swim, too.
We also need to know what items, if any, require.
Require attunement.
Yeah.
Rok-Rok's armor is like twice as heavy.
Does it not actually show? Oh, it does. Down in rarity, it'll show.
Oh,
if it-
you're right. Okay. Well, I guess if Rok-Rok has 2-minute slot open, he can definitely get those.
Alright, so should we... We should probably just go one at a time, so we don't have people wanting to just take everything. We should
Yeah.
probably start with the weapons first.
Ooh, what's a dancing scimitar? Right
I
there.
want it.
As you're identifying it, it basically jumps up and takes a swing at you. But
Either
you- But thankfully, Rok-Rok is standing right there and basically
Oh.
just grabs at the scimitar and shoves
Hold
it
on.
back down to the ground.
Yeah.
Instead of grabbing it, can it just like swing at me and Rok-Rok standing there, and it basically hits a stone pillar instead? That is Rok-Rok. Like without
Uh,
hurting him, it just kind of smacks into his
Clangs
armor.
against him.
I
Yeah,
want-
yeah.
Exactly.
I wanted to do some acrobatics and like dive and catch the handle.
No, you're
Well,
not
aren't
supposed
you
to
fancy?
grab at a falling knife, right? It's dangerous.
Well, this isn't falling.
That's true. It is rising up.
You
So you
shouldn't.
are
You shouldn't.
supposed to
You
grab
shouldn't
at
try to. You shouldn't try to grab a knife in movement at all.
Just don't. Just if you see a knife, stay away. It's dangerous.
Stop. Call someone. Get some help.
It's
Stop. Don't touch. Get an adult.
Alright, let's... we got a lot of stuff to go through.
yeah. The dancing scimitar basically fights for you.
Should we roll for initiative?
No, you wrestle it back down onto the ground and finish the.
unless you're
Ident-
Rok-Rok, Rok-Rok will go to the knife.
After the identification spell finishes, the knife calms down. All right, that's really the only special thing.
Does anyone want a glaive, great club, or halberd, or a scimitar?
I would take the scimitar +2 probably.
Well, I would have taken that.
Oh, you want that?
Well, it depends, because that's a better melee weapon for me.
Oh, then I'll take the halberd +2 then.
Actually, you're right, because it is finesse. Interesting. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
The halberd,
Unless-
by the way, keep in mind that the halberd is going to be you have disadvantage as
Unless,
a heavy weapon.
I mean, who wants the dancing scimitar? Because if nobody, Rok-Rok would take that.
Well, the cool thing about the dancing scimitar is that, like, because it fights for us, it doesn't matter as much as to who owns it. Also, it does require 2, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: is using it is a bonus action. I know Rok-Rok uses Raku is heavily like based in his bonus actions too. Rok-Rok, isn't your like action surges and stuff like that a bonus action?
His action surge is not, but
Or-
his second
Yeah.
and
Second wind
recall-
is.
and recalling his weapon after throwing it.
Yeah, so
Actually, now that I think about it, this might be a better item for Cobalt because
yeah, that's
I don't-
exactly what I was thinking.
yeah, I don't use my bonus action ever, and it's a
Because-
finesse weapon.
Yeah, you're gonna be casting spells as your action, then use a bonus action to use a freaking sword.
Oh,
Awesome.
that would give him some extra defense too, technically.
Also, I think Cobalt with a big scar on his back was really cool.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Sure.
Cobalt.
Cool.
That seems fair.
And you took the halberd, Rok-Rok?
And the gloves of swimming and climbing.
Alright.
All right, and we still have 30 plus tars and a club plus.
What's Eric's gonna take?
Hold on. Oh wait, he doesn't.
Eric still has no idea this thing exists, so he's.
Yes.
We
Eric.
we brought you with us.
This is showing it to everyone.
Yeah, we specifically went and got you and Cobalt, but we didn't bring the lizard.
Oh, I missed that part.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, well,
Try to keep up.
let me open the party sheet. I wasn't
And I
looking
guess,
at it because, well,
Give the manual of golems to Cobalt, and I'll take the musket.
I was about to say the
Well,
musket
I
seems
gave
like
you the
it'd be-
musket.
there is
What?
an entire chariot in here.
I already gave you the musket when you
Oh,
came in.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if I took it.
Oh, Rok-Rok threw it at you.
No, I know. I don't know if I took it out of the room with me. I think I put it down as Raku was trying to keep his
Ah, okay.
sexual desires from all the money in here.
Okay, well, I have very limited options as far as weapons go.
Mhm.
One of those weapons would be scimitars. I'm looking through the rest of these, comparing them to what I can use with proficiency, and it looks like that is the only weapon that Eric's can use as a druid.
Hey, we got our last minute. We got our last.
You are muted though, so.
I am?
No, not you.
Did you?
You're muted.
Unless he's still just staying in the
Oh.
chat to listen to us.
But yes,
No.
we can hear you, Eric's, but not you, Infel.
Oh, I see what you guys are talking about. I will
Yeah,
copy
yes.
paste that. If
So,
you guys
Eric-
notice that, could you do what I've been doing and just post in the chat like that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So Eric, you said you're getting probably club the weapon you grab. Can you
Do what?
Did you say you're going to take the great club because of the weapon? You
I cannot use great clubs.
He's gonna use.
Oh.
He's gonna take the scimitar.
Okay.
Am I getting the plus one of the plus ones or the plus two?
Yeah, I have the +2.
Hmm.
There
Can
we go.
Digi, do you not have like earbuds with a mic on them?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is it not possible to like talk on the phone?
You
Well-
should be able to.
Alright, so can Cobalt have this silk robe with gold embroidery?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Yes!
Raku wants the fucking crown.
Where
Uh-oh,
is
we
that?
might have to
Is
fight
the
Rok-Rok for the
gold
crown.
I was looking at the crown.
I would like
but
the dragon comb.
but Rok-Rok would take the. Rockwell definitely would take the pair of engraved bone dice. That just speaks to him on a personal level.
Oh, and I
just
can
assumed
teach you
you'd
how to...
go for the war mask.
And the war mask too.
Well, I have proficiency with dice and I don't have any.
You can start with dice, can't you, if you have proficiency with gaming set? Usually when you
Yep.
get a proficiency with a gaming set of your choice, it also gives you the gaming set.
No, in some instances, with your background proficiencies, you don't actually get the set of tools. or
Rok-Rok.
game sets.
Rok-Rok's proficient in dice too,
Oh, okay.
and it's bone.
I want the topaz.
Okay.
Rok-Rok would take the anklet too.
Cobalt wants,
Druid anklet.
Cobalt wants anything that has sapphire.
Damn it, I was about to
Rok-Rok is taking the anklet.
take the platinum band.
See, I was gonna wait, but it's the only. So far, it's
Yeah.
literally the only blue gemstone we've ever gotten.
That's okay. Well, there's a yellow sapphire.
That's not blue.
Okay,
That's-
fine.
It specifically says it's not blue.
Oh, but you don't want to take the well-made tapestry instead?
Absolutely not. What's
Realize you
Cobalt
can
gonna
buy
do
it.
with a fancy curtain?
Rok-Rok would also take the necklace of the pink pearls and the black opal.
Hey,
Hey, Dova.
Rok-Rok.
Or do
You've
you want
gotten
the
a lot of stuff here.
Like I
I mean-
said, try to keep it one at a time at this point when we're
I
taking.
mean, if anybody else wants them, I'm willing to share. I'm just naming stuff.
Yeah,
I'm willing to share.
I was
Rok-Rok
looking at
for
the black opal
Oh, you can have it then.
yeah, I was.
and
The-
one of the ambers.
The necklace he was just gonna give to Sora.
I assume we'll all just take an amber.
Well, there's 3 of them and 4 of us.
There's
Rok-Rok.
3. Oh, there is 4 of us. Yeah.
Yeah, Rok-Rok won't take an amber. He'll give the ambers to others.
Okay,
Cobalt
so
is-
1 of each for each of us. Okay.
And I get that platinum bracelet with a sapphire.
Platinum bracelet with the sapphire. All right.
I'll take the yellow sapphire.
Aside from weapons that we are actually going to use, I would say that we leave the others in here for our kobolds to use.
I was about to say, yeah. I was gonna give this let the like I don't want to say higher up, but like the
I
Cobalt
was gonna say once we got all the valuables out, I would let Infel come in because even though Rocky doesn't trust him, he wants him to be worth something in a fight.
Additionally, Sully did give up his life for this lizard.
Yeah,
Hey Dova, what's on the tapestry?
The tapestry itself is it's a depiction of a battle long ago fought. The weird thing is that all of the enemies are depicted as frogs. Otherwise, they're fairly anthropomorphic. It does look like old medieval tapestries, so proportions are kind of off. Expressions are weird, but it's fairly detailed. the actual like chronology of the battle as depicted is hard to decipher, though.
Rok-Rok would take that for his bedroom.
All right. Large, well-made tapestry.
And I think that's all he's gonna really take.
Yeah,
Eric's will
Cobalt's done
take the
too.
bird cage.
I'll take the silver necklace.
Slow down. Silver necklace.
Ooh, that's a red gem. I want the spinel.
I say we sell the golden chariot or just leave it
Yeah,
in here
That's
for
what I
later.
was gonna say.
Or I
Yeah.
say we leave it in
Or-
here just in case if we don't have any money, we can come back and sell it later.
Or we can use this money to buy a coliseum and then hold events in it, and Rok-Rok gets to ride the golden chariot.
I think it's kind of expensive to.
Yeah, I'd say no.
I'm sure we can use
But
the
go
money
for
from the
it. I would
golden
love to see
chariot to
that.
fix the airship, because that's gonna cost money.
all right, shipwrights. We need this. We need this boat fixed. Here's your payment.
As
What am I supposed to do with this?
As far as the coins go, do we really want to split that up between us all, or do we want to take like a portion each and then put the rest on Shrek? Because we're gonna need a lot of money to get our empire started.
Why don't we just split it evenly between us and Crack?
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
there would just be the 5 of us.
That works. All right.
So it's being split between Eric's, Cobalt, Infel, Raku, Rok-Rok, and the shared account.
Not info.
Not Infel.
Not Infel.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
But out of character, we're probably gonna let him use some of the funds from the chest.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
If he
it's kind
needed
of a. I don't like being out of character. I don't like being this mean to Infel, but
Yeah.
in character, it just it's.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well-
Rok-Rok was going to give Infel money anyway.
Yeah.
Also, here's the thing. Is if he just created the character and like he just started playing it, there might not be a whole lot he legitimately, because mostly anything he needs would have gotten.
Well, I doubt he has any magical items or anything.
That's what I was gonna
I
say.
know.
He can come and grab one of these weapons, whatever he wants.
I don't know. I'd be surprised if Dova had like we have so many magic items between the 4 of us. I'd be surprised if Dova didn't let him start off with something.
Well, he kind of did wake up malnourished in an escape pod.
As far
That's
as you know,
true,
Infel
actually.
didn't really have anything on him.
No, you're entirely right. I completely
Yeah, I'm
forgot
not
about
sure
that.
he's even got armor or anything.
We can buy him armor at the next.
He has his scales.
Scales. His claws.
Well, we can get him equipped in town if we decide to keep him. Honestly, it is entirely plausible for us to be like, alright, you're rescued now. Here's a little bit of gold. Have a good life. Not saying we'll actually do that, it just would make sense in character.
But we're probably not.
No, we're definitely not going to do that. It just would make sense in character. Anyways, I
Well-
think things are split up well enough. If you want to go ahead and send it off.
Prepare for lag. Because here it comes.
Error.
Ah!
Error. Error.
Ah, someone put things in my pockets.
Ah,
I think
It's
I
empty
got
now.
all of the...
Yeah, you got all
Glaives.
three of
Yeah.
the scimitars.
And embers.
Take-
And all three of the embers are...
I think
Well,
the
they're all
Emperor's got it.
gone because they're split between us all.
Yes, I think I got that right.
I
know
have a
what?
question though. Why is there still 4 platinum? Oh no.
It didn't
I'll-
divide evenly. I
I'll,
will...
ta- I'll take one for the team. I'll take the 4 platinum pieces.
No, those usually get added to Shrek.
Well, I figured since there's 4
$4.99.
people.
Well, the excess usually just gets added to Shrek.
Go ahead
He
and
is the
split that
party.
up however you want.
Yeah, just give it to Shrek.
I say we give it to Trek.
That's majority.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Rok-Rok
add
don't care.
4
This
platinum,
is how... This is
1
how
electrum,
democracy...
Everything's been added.
3 silver, and 3 copper. Alright. Currently within the stockpile are... Let me actually grab a item for that glaive. Or no, scimitar.
Yeah, there's 2 scimitars. The 2+1s.
I look amazing,
Yeah,
by the way.
I'll reduce how many I have.
That like silk robe. Oh my goodness. It's super long. It's like a super long flowing like you feel very regal. Like someone should be walking behind you to hold it off the ground. Of course
Throwing
there's no
flowers.
you experiment with using your mage hand to keep it held up, but it's not quite the same.
I might have to get
Like-
it shortened.
It is also possible. Yes, it is quite poorly fitting on you.
Hey,
Holy
Dova.
Yeah?
One, could you identify the scimitar in the party sheet?
Oh yes.
And for some reason, my studded leather armor is no longer identified in my inventory. If you could go click the identify button on that, please.
Ah,
I don't know why.
common.
Oh, I guess I'm not proficient with scimitars. Oh well, it's still +7.
How are you not
Thank you.
proficient?
Maybe it's scimitar's a simple weapon, isn't it?
I don't know
Uh,
what it is. I just know that I have.
No, unfortunately, the only finesse simple weapon is the dagger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it automatically gave it to me as proficient, so that's weird.
It
If
does-
you do get some proficiencies depending on your background or your actual class.
Yeah, because I have simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords.
Which
Yes, then
means that-
scimitars would not be
Yeah.
proficient for you.
Because if I did, it would be a +11. That's ridiculous.
Well, in that case, I should get the +2 if you're not even proficient in them.
I still have +7.
Are you proficient in it?
Yes, I am proficient in scimitars. That was kind of the whole point of me getting a scimitar.
Weird.
Alright, whatever. We'll trade.
Dova, if you can just move the scimitar +1 from my inventory to his, and then the +2 from his to mine.
Alright, let me look through. Inventory. That just added a new one to his. I'll take care of that later. Actually, that did not add the weight.
Here, let me try.
No,
Why is life so hard?
I don't know. I believe I need to drag the shield.
Yeah, that's what you do.
That would do it. I was just dragging the name.
Oh,
Does Infel want a glaive, a great club, or a scimitar?
Go ahead and just write that in the channel, in the Rooms Reptiles channel.
Okay.
Infel.
Oh, yeah.
Alright. So now that we've split everything up, let's continue on. So what's next?
I guess we
Um,
were headed
yeah.
to...
Suzal. I'm going to step away for a moment.
Okay.
Hey, Dova, how many things can you have attuned to your character?
3.
3.
3? Okay. Cool.
Does your armor require attunement?
No, the only thing I have attuned to me, I believe, is my doll, Sora.
I believe your axe did require attunement.
Yeah, I think Sora's the only one with the attunement, so he's going to spend that time, whatever, because it's like, what, an hour to attune the, swimming gloves.
Alright then.
I'll make a note so I can don't forget what I'm attuned to.
Let me see. I had to attune to my spell ring, right?
Yes.
Let me see.
Oh my god, your inventory is not organized, Riku.
Yeah.
How do you survive?
I
Is
thought it's organized. It's organized by alphabetical order. On
It is, but
because I just have so much shit, you mean?
yeah, like you don't have it labeled about where stuff is, like on your person. Like holy fuck.
Oh, do you... What do you mean? Yeah, I do. Well, I have it whether it's in my bag or equipped on me, or not,
And that
or...
little icon on the back, you can actually like set groups of where things are.
What icon?
The icon where it says, like on the
The
far right, where it
groups
says
are
carried
the
or equipped.
the lines
No, yeah.
under location.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So Rok-Rok, to answer your question, most +1, regular +1 items don't require attunement, but like Sora, your axe, which doesn't it have a recall ability?
Yeah, but I didn't think it has attunement on it.
That would normally require attunement, but of course it is up to Dova.
I think it's also a plus something.
Well, the plus doesn't require attunement, but the recall would normally.
I know.
That's up to you, Dova.
The attunement on the glade or the scimitar.
His
No,
axe.
the axe.
Yes, it would require. Due to the fact that it returns to you in specific, it would require attunement.
Okay, so I'm at my max attunement then.
Meanwhile, Eric says nothing he's attuned to.
Does it cost anything to unattune something?
No, I believe you can do that with within a short rest.
Okay.
Basically, the idea of attunement is so while we're in combat, you can't just, oh, this person fell, so I'm going to pick up their super awesome item and start using it myself.
The way I look at attunement is that a physical body can only hold so much magical, and things that require magical attunement are so powerful that you can only have 3, or else it just blows you up.
That too. So, what now? It's getting somewhat late in the day. It's roughly 6 o'clock in the evening. There is indeed a storm somewhere on the horizon. It's been slowly catching up to you, and it may hit shortly after you arrive in Suzail. You still have a little bit of time before nightfall.
I'm going to mentally think to Sora and give her that necklace.
Okay. Do you like tie it around the doll's neck or something?
Yeah.
I've never been given a gift before. I don't quite know how to feel.
I just smile and don't say anything.
I like to think
feel
that
thankful, I suppose.
My tail wags happily.
So it doesn't, the DM's guide doesn't explain why you have limited attunement and such, but as far as it goes, it is you spend an hour doing something with the item to actually basically figure out how it works. So like for a weapon, you might do some form of weapon practice, meditation for a wondrous item, etc. You can only have up to 3 items at a time, no copy items, so like you can't have 2 rings of protection at a time. Anir, to answer your question that I just noticed, I would say that the attuner requires attunement. That is up to Dova, of course, which would mean that only one person can use it at another person would have to use an hour.
They can only use it to its fullest potential. There are, you can basically still use a sword to stab, but you can't use its magical influence to help you.
Yeah, so like with your axe, Rok-Rok, if you're not attuned to it, it still works like an axe. You would still probably get the +1. That is dependent on the item. But like the recall factor, you could not use unless you're attuned.
My axe doesn't have a +1.
Okay, so then you could not use it. You could not use the recall part of it unless you're attuned to it.
Yeah, I mean, Rok-Rok's attuned to it, so...
I'm just explaining how it works.
Oh, yeah.
To
I
end
get it.
attunement, if you no longer satisfy any requisites for the attunement, some items require a specific class, for example. If the item has been more than 100 feet away for at least 24 hours, if you die, or if another creature attunes to the item. You can voluntarily end attunement by spending another short rest focused on the item, unless the item is cursed.
that's definitely I didn't know that if you died, then you have to reattune to it, because that would suck if like you died and then were revived and suddenly your super special axe didn't work anymore.
Well, at the same time, I don't think there are any instant resurrections in the game.
Revivify.
Is it an instant?
Revivify is basically resuscitation petals.
You come back from
You're-
the death with 1 HP, as long
you're
as you didn't die.
Yes,
Sorry.
you're technically dead, but your soul is still in your body, so you're basically just giving a little jolt. After that, stuff gets complicated.
And then you have 1
Yeah.
HP. Stand back up.
It would
like-
be very unwise to use Revivify in combat, even though it does count.
No.
I mean, coming back
it's-
with 1 hit point,
no,
every use
But
of it
you're
is
also
300 gold worth of diamonds that are just gone.
I'd
Well,
say that's very well worth it. Either way,
Yeah.
we'll continue on as night starts to fall upon the ship. Upon the orders of Gort and yourself, Eric's, the crew starts to rotate out to their various positions and shifts. Some of them sleeping, some of them are now awake. As the night fully encapsulates the ship, you see the clouds recede for a brief moment, showing the incredibly bright full moon. Cobalt, you would notice this. Yesterday it wasn't a full moon. Yesterday it was basically, I think it was a waning gibbon, which means it was fairly thin in the sky. I believe that's what it means. I took astronomy, but I can barely remember.
And this is last night, right? Not
is last
before
night. Yes.
I'm gonna ritual cast
Ritual cast what?
detect magic.
In
See if
the
maybe
middle
there's
of-
some kind of illusion spell.
In the middle of casting that spell, you see traveling from the moon itself at a very, very quick pace is a bolt of energy. As you all basically see it approaching at this point.
Is it
You
coming
can't really
towards
tell
the ship?
how. You can't tell exactly how big it is, but it is coming smack dab for the ship.
Hey, Dova, could you adjust your mic? We keep getting popping noise.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
All right, but yes, it's coming straight for the ship.
Do I have a turn to do anything to react?
Yes, all of you would have a quick reaction.
Oh,
Although
a reaction.
some of you are below decks at this point.
I'm sorry, but this is very appropriate.
Red alert! All hands to battle stations.
Fuck yeah.
Great. So
Currently below decks are Rok-Rok and Raku. Cobalt and Eric's, you are above decks and notice this happening.
I'm guessing that since if this was a spell, it would already be cast. I wouldn't be able to cast counterspell.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
I'm-
certainly try though.
I'm going to start barking out orders for, evasive maneuvers.
Alright.
I'll turn the tiller to the, or whatever it's
Starboard or
called.
port?
I don't know directions, but opposite side from the gaping hole.
All right. The gaping hole is currently on the starboard side, so you basically face the fresh side of the boat towards the bolt of energy. As you
Well, I'm-
slam the tiller to the starboard side, the ship begins to turn.
Well, I was more meaning I'm trying to turn to, because usually when you do turn a ship, it will lean,
Yes.
especially this rough. So I'm going to make sure that the fresh side, the undamaged side, is going under the water instead of, the whole side with the hole.
Precisely. As the ship starts to lean very heavily to port, turning quite sharply. Cobalt, did you want to do anything? As
It's
you
a-
hear cargo
would-
ship beneath.
I would need a reaction on thing. Right?
It depends on what exactly you want to do.
Hmm.
Everyone
Well,
would
I would
notice
try
at this
to-
point that something is going down, as the ship has all of a sudden, basically, it's doing a handbrake turn.
I would like to try a dispel
Dispel magic. All right. What level?
Since I don't know what level this spell, or if it is a spell, would be, probably just do level 3 and then roll.
And dispel magic. Let me look that up.
It's basically a counter spell where I roll a d20 plus my casting modifier, and the DC is 10 plus the spell's level.
Just
Okay.
for the record, real quick, I would have shouted out very loudly to brace yourselves and stuff before. Ooh, nice.
There's literally, okay, if this is a spell that can be affected by dispel magic, there's nothing that would be able to not be dispelled because I passed a 9.
But
However, it
anyways,
does seem that this magic is not able to be intercepted in this way.
It was certainly a shot.
what I was saying is that I shouted out quite loudly that for people to brace themselves and stuff.
All right. As quite a few of the crew do precisely such. Infel. At this point, you would be stepping out into the ship proper, as you narrowly dodge one of the crates rolling across the deck. It apparently wasn't secured, and make your way up to the main deck. Even through your maneuvering, the bolt of energy seems to change direction rather swiftly. It's coming down at about maybe a 75-degree angle, almost vertical, and swerves to continue tracking your ship. About 20 feet in front of you, Cobalt, it strikes the main deck. There is a tremendous force of energy that radiates outwards. Some of the kobolds are nearly knocked off their feet as the dust, dirt, and various other things that have stuck to the hull are violently knocked off of it. And
My
in
ship!
the the impact itself, it doesn't seem to have done much structural damage. A lot of it seems to be superficial, as there's a sizable, maybe a 10-foot around dented and cracked area, and in the center of which there's a good bit of what looks to be mist, actually, instead of smoke. And as this mist slowly clears out, you see impaled into the floorboard is a sword. The metal on it is a pale silver with ivory colored, with an ivory colored pommel.
Great. The Lady of the
As
Lake has
Infel-
granted us a boon.
As Infel would leave the sort of the underdeck and proceed onto the main deck, walking towards this object with a strange confidence.
Cobalt's gonna start walking
To
I'm
where?
gonna.
toward the sword.
Raku goes above deck to see what the hell's happening.
You would see the scene. Cobalt, you're about 10 feet closer to the sword than Infel. As you would arrive slightly before him.
I'm gonna try to pull it out.
It is stuck firm. Almost like what you did absolutely nothing to it. There's no wiggling, there's no creaking of the wood beneath. It's almost like, because you have that rod of holding, the
Immovable rod.
immovable rod, sorry.
Oh
And
yeah,
it
don't.
basically felt like that.
What do you think about this?
Wow.
Oh, that was higher than I thought. I was expecting it to get like a -1.
What is with you in these 20s?
Yeah,
Good question.
He's been eating his Wheaties.
he has. Listen, Rok-Rok.
Not
Yep.
gonna lie, I was expecting something less than 0.
With all your Lilliputian might, you try to remove it from the planks, but are unable to. As Infel would arrive shortly afterwards and recognize exactly whose emblem is marked on it as he reaches towards it and pries it from the deck.
Oh, you found my sword. Can I have it back?
He's currently typing.
Eric's is going to be barking out orders almost the second it impacted to send a couple down below decks to look for damage there. You know, basic captaining stuff. Have a couple looking out to watch for further. As far as he's concerned, this is pretty much an attack. So he's setting people to watch for further attacks off to all 4 directions, and then of course one looking up at the moon where it came from, watching the skies.
I was just gonna do a quip that was not, I no spell like Rok-Rok. So I was just gonna say it's the strength of childhood curiosity coming into play.
As you continue to try to bring it out of the ground, Infel reaches down and let me roll a quick strength check for him. How much do you weigh, Cobalt?
25 or 30
Yeah.
pounds.
Basically raises both you and the sword up.
I figured. I'd hoped actually.
You let go?
No. I'm like holding onto the what's it called? The hilt, not the hilt.
Pommel?
Pommel. Yes, thank you.
As he removes the sword, he sort of turns it around so that it's facing upwards. You can see now in the moonlight that it's slightly glowing. A faint white glow. In addition, as it's held up, almost coalescing from the air around it, the faint white moonbeams, a sheath made of silver and ivory, with a strap made of what looks to be a very, very light leather. Infel, you are now in possession of a moon-touched short sword.
Fancy.
Complete with a sheath. In addition to the markings of Saloon. The markings themselves are a... Oh, where is it? Oh, why do I not have this? On the handguard, it's fairly thick, and inscribed into it is a pair of fairly tame-looking eyes, 7 stars, spaced evenly within. As Infel says quietly, almost to himself, gift from Saloon. I shall treasure this. Oh, it didn't like that. Okay.
For those of you on stream, I am getting it added there now. Just one moment. There it is. Holy crap, that's a lot bigger than we need. There you go.
As Cobalt still dangling from the sword, you hear Infel say to you, "Child, are you alright?"
I'm fine. And then, I guess we'll go now.
As you plop back down to the deck, falling about 2 feet. Actually, no, you'd be falling a decent ways for your height. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check. That's good enough.
Choose to
As
build it.
you as you plop back down to the deck, still on your feet and upright.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'm gonna take this. Go back and work on my golem for quite a bit.
before you go, Infel actually says to you, "Would you like to hold the sword?"
Cole says, "We say, well, yes." I've,
Rok-Rok, and Eric's. What are you guys doing?
Eric's will be
I
barking out orders and such, and then of course going down and being like, "What is that, and why did it hit my ship?"
Raku's gonna look up at the moon and go, "Where's my bow?"
The moon does not respond.
I'll give it the finger.
At about this time, it chooses to do what it was gonna do. As another cloud comes and conceals it. It doesn't disappear within the cloud, but it's behind the cloud, you know. As Infel unsheathes the sword, a faint light radiating out from it, and gives it to Cobalt.
Cole's gonna identify it.
All right. As he starts to identify it, Infel, if you want to do anything against that, which I don't think you would. And as the clouds sort of that are obscuring it eventually move out of the way, you see that the moon has reverted to a much smaller state. Not physically smaller, but the actual bright portion of it is much smaller. Rok-Rok, your plant hasn't been fed for quite a long time, so it is hungry.
yeah, he's unloading stuff.
Your plant?
Yeah, it's a houseplant.
Yeah,
You gotta make sure they're healthy.
yeah, I gotta water it and stuff.
I don't remember you getting a plant.
Neither do I.
He took the office from
yeah.
Beholder
I
with the intel.
remember that now.
I thought I
It was the
grabbed
only
my
thing-
I thought I grabbed the bonsai tree.
No, Rok-Rok did because it was covered
No,
with entrails.
there's a bonsai tree and then there's a fern.
Yes.
Yeah,
they
the-
were-
Oh yeah, he grabbed the fern. Speaking of, I did put the bonsai tree in my new captain's quarters.
It's been better, but now that you're actually taking care of it, it's starting to, recover.
I'm gonna use a bit of
Druid magics.
I'm gonna find a wooden surface to put it on, and then use my druid magic to kind of grow out some arms from the wood if I can, just to hold it in place.
You would be able to do that. They're little bit flimsy, but they'll hold it in place, especially during heavy seas.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I wanted, because
And I meant to read this out earlier, but Infel would say to you, Cobalt, don't be rude to Saloon,
I thought he said that.
but you're welcome to pray to me.
I thought he said that to Raku because he flipped off the moon.
Oh yes, he did. That was
he's welcome to. So Cobalt is welcome to pray to Infel.
He says with.
I know Infel said that, but that Dova said that he said too.
I could have sworn.
You were wrong, though.
He's a
Dova, you did say you
a
are
lazy-
welcome to pray to me.
Calm down.
When Infel says that to me, I'm gonna move the finger to him.
Anyways, eventually you do manage to identify it. It actually turns out to be a moon touch short sword.
Wow.
This light it radiates. It makes a 15-foot radius bright and an additional 15-foot radius dim. Would you look at that?
It's very bright.
I don't like this.
It's bright. It's bright for you, Cobalt.
It's an extremely bright sword.
Extremely bright. Additionally, it is enchanted to provide a better effectiveness. In
It's like
essence, it is a +1 sword.
So it has a keener edge.
Yes.
I think that's what my previous DM used to, how he used to describe plus weapons in RP.
There's a lot of different enchantments that go to making that go into a weapon like this. Some of them aid the aim of the user, making it strike weak points more easily. They sort of work with the wielder to strike harder, as well as the enchantment to make it sharper and more resilient to damage. And no, it does not have a string to turn the light on and off. Thankfully, the sheath seems to block light.
So Cobalt's gonna slide it out and like just a little bit to check the blade, and it's gonna pretty much blind him.
Yeah, it's. You know that scene in Pulp Fiction where they open the briefcase to look inside?
Yes.
That's basically the light that's coming out, except it's like really bright, so you have to like lean back and squint.
So upon this happening, Cobalt's gonna let go of the sword, put his hands over his eyes and lay one fall and lay on his back. Oh, he was sitting down, by the way. Now he fell back on his. And he's just gonna lay there for a little bit.
Is it a clap on, clap off?
Has to
No,
be.
it's a sheath on.
Oh, sheath on, sheath off.
I was gonna make a Christmas Story reference, but I'll keep that to myself.
Better. I don't know.
The lamp?
Yep.
The tasteful exotic lamp?
The very tasteful.
Want to hear an
Sure.
amazing anecdote?
Yeah, sure.
No.
We had one of those in my fucking attic. I guess my grandpa bought one.
What did I just say?
DM.
Awesome.
My word.
It's pretty amazing. You just see the leg lamp, and it's just like, why?
Why not?
My mom has one as well. She keeps the thing out year round. That movie annoys me. It was great the first 2 times I saw it, maybe 3 times. But every single year, it's that movie.
I don't know. Nightmare Before Christmas doesn't get old for me.
Yeah,
No.
Nightmare Before Christmas doesn't get old. Christmas Story, on the other hand...
I had a pretty good situation with that movie. Remember, it was years ago, and I was I was playing Nazi zombies. My brother was watching it in the background, and then it got to the one of the bully scenes, and all you could hear over my mic was like these 8-year-olds screaming.
My grandpa grew up in that time, and he said that's exactly what it was like. Let us continue. So, the sword has been retrieved, and it's been revealed to you, Eric's, that there's really not much damage aside from the deck being dented inwards.
Lizard, you're paying for that.
As he continues to do his prayers and various things with Cobalt, who is currently laying in his back with his hands over his eyes. Alright.
As Cobalt prays to the lizard folk, apparently.
Don't joke around with that. This is real life. Also, as you guys sort of settle in for another night, Eric's, you eventually pass off command to one of the other kobolds who can pilot the ship, and as well as the first mate who's woken up very, very late today so can work through the night. Gort. Alright. In the morning, as nothing very interesting passes, looking at your map, you realize to be about maybe 1 or 2 hours from arriving in Suzail. And as you sort of step out onto the deck with a cup of Earl Grey, Eric's, you realize
Earl
that
Grey,
all
hot.
of the pirate... Yes, that all of the pirate markings and decorations are still up. You've never fixed that.
Yeah, let's, I'm gonna set a portion of the kobolds to cleaning that up. Our group was called the Traveling Scales, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can Cobalt design our Jolly Roger?
We are not flying a Jolly Roger.
Cobalt's gonna take that as a yes. And he's gonna scamper off with a
Start
large
design,
paper.
start working.
Yes.
Alright, you start drafting a flag.
We are not flying a Jolly Roger.
Cobalt can't do.
Yes, he is off in a different part of the ship right now.
It's gonna be a skull with, instead of crossed bones, it's gonna be crossed baguettes. What other pirate adornments are there?
Lots of iron spikes. The headboard, I think that's what it's called. The figurehead is a very gruesome sort of amalgamation of what looks to be dried out, like actual bones.
I say we keep those.
We can keep them, but we'll take them off the ship. Since a lot of these, I would assume we cannot really just take down, I would like to find something to serve as, a white flag of peace kind of thing.
Okay, like a kind of a...
You mean the French national flag?
Like a fancy tapestry?
Or just a white flag? Or just a white flag?
Or probably just a sheet.
The white flag.
Flying,
is actually the
flying a
flag of
white
France.
flag is a sort of the universal sign of saying you're unaffiliated and a civilian.
Yeah.
However, the very obvious warlike nature of your ship would probably not pass, close inspection. Additionally, you remember from doing your repairs that there is actually the name that still needs to be sorted out.
What was the name of the ship again?
The current name of the ship is the
Blood
I
Murder.
have this written down. Something along those lines, actually.
Blood Murder Kill Death.
Hold on.
I've got an idea.
Is it Ayastal?
No.
When we are... when we are within sight of the town, of the port, I can wild shape...
Fire the cannons and we attack.
No. I can
Okay,
wild
so-
shape into some kind of sea creature and swim up to the dock and explain that we just got this ship from... that we took this ship from pirates and we are looking for repairs and to use it for non-piracy.
Wouldn't that make us pirates if we pirated a ship from pirates?
Technically, it would. So, Eric's, could you roll a D100 for me?
Oh no.
And I'm going to say hi. So if it's above 50. 65. Okay. So, you know how a lot of vessels will name themselves like ISS, Intrepid, stuff like that? Nobody really knows what the SS stands for, but it just kind of stuck. It seems that Ayastal had the bright idea of placing the first letter of her first name. So, the name of the ship is the ASS Obliterator.
I knew there was a reason Rok-Rok liked her.
Jeez.
This is so much better than anything I could ever come up.
Wow.
Rok-Rok
Thankfully,
knows
the
to keep
choice
name.
of ink was rather poor, and you can't really see it until you're fairly close. Otherwise, that would have... yeah.
Raku, would you come with me riding on my back when I do go? Because you're a bit better at talking to people.
Yeah.
Probably just do a dolphin or something, Dova. Something fast, but that he can hold on to. So, I assume we are approaching the port now?
Yes, you do actually see it over the horizon as you're just finishing up your removal of the pirate effigies. However, the name is still the Ass Obliterator, in addition to the fact that you do not have a flag currently.
I wasn't able to find a sheet.
You do have the white sheet, but you'd probably be sending mixed messages if a patrol boat would come to your sort of inspection.
How so?
Uh,
I mean, yes,
Well-
there's the decorations, but it's still, the universal sign of...
Let's just pass on that because I can already. I'm just gonna talk us out of it.
sure.
Okay,
Having
well,
Rok-Rok answer that would be a bad idea, considering how he looks.
By the way, did we ever level up after all the Titan fighting?
No, you did not.
That is unfortunate.
It wasn't you fighting. That was Titan.
Yeah,
Titan
I
leveled
don't.
up.
I don't fight anything. My bow fights.
Raku,
You shut up with your
shut
smart
up.
mouth.
Raku, could you give me your green card from Baldur's Gate, please?
You're a dolphin.
Where are you going to carry it?
I can put it into my money pouch, and with my card, and all of my stuff becomes part of my form. It's
That
the
is correct.
best way to keep the stuff safe on the way to the docks.
All right.
So,
It is.
you are now within a decent distance of the port town of Suzale. You see the telltale signs of a civilization. There's heavy signs of cooking smokes. The water becomes very, very slightly dirtier. You find a piece of driftwood much more often, and it seems to be actual planks instead of bits of wood. And you do see another ship on the horizon. This one seems to be about maybe 10 miles away. As far as you can tell, it looks to be a medium-sized vessel.
Do I see any affiliations on it for like a guard or something?
Make a perception check.
All right. I'm in my kitchen right now. Give me a second.
Okay.
My passive is 22.
But you are trying to look for details of the distance, so...
Yeah.
And
okay.
it is daylight, so this would be at disadvantage.
Oh.
This is somewhat early in the morning. Actually, no, disregard that. There is heavy cloud cover from the storm moving in.
All right. 23.
It does not have any affiliation with Suzale directly. Like, it's not a Coast Guard vessel. But it is registered with them as far as you can tell from their flag arrangement. It's not a military ship from what you can tell.
Okay.
But it is privately owned.
Okay, so when we are about 45 minutes swim or so from the dock, Raku and I will go ahead and take off. Raku, you'll want to leave behind anything you don't want the seawater to damage.
Okay. I'll...
And we could probably just assume you left behind things probably like your bow might be okay. I don't know, up to Dova.
Magical items are well renowned for resisting corrosion.
Okay.
Alright, yeah, I'll bring my bow, and then, I guess this is a good question. How are, magical holding items do with water? If
you keep the bag closed, then they won't fill up with water.
My quiver doesn't close, but it's also on my back, and that's not really going to be submerged, so... Yeah, I'll put my, my M&A paperwork in my bag of holding and keep that on me, and I have my quiver with my bow in it.
Okay.
I essentially just, I guess, leave my backpack.
Alright.
Your armor if it's not magical.
I don't have armor.
You don't have leather armor or anything?
No, I have dragon scales.
Oh.
Same.
Okay. Well, anyways, we
Then
will...
again, I can just keep everything on me, and then when we get to shore, use the water's bane rod and dry myself off.
True, but
force
it
the
still
water
might
out of
have
everything.
damage.
Okay, yeah, I'll just leave my bag then.
I mean, it repels water, but not necessarily salt. And salt is really what would destroy things here.
Okay.
Anyways, so we're gonna take off to the, we're gonna take off to the shore, the docks.
Alright. It takes you quite a while, and you are quite tired when you arrive. But could you give me a Constitution? What kind of check would it be to stay on a dolphin? Since you'd have the
Athletics.
fin to grab onto.
But it's not like he's bucking. He knows that
Yeah.
I'm riding him.
I'd say you would be able to make it with no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be purposely making sure that he's okay.
Yes. All right. You slowly pull up into the port. You've never been here before, and the water here is somewhat soiled, and so you guys are getting quite rank while riding through it.
Raccoon,
there's
you've
no
got
beach.
Prestidigit that thing, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
You eventually do find a spot where you can sort of haul yourselves up. There are ladders placed from the docks leading into the water, and at the top of which is a couple of guards. They've seen your approach and have sort of moved to intercept your arrival. They don't seem to be holding their spears, pointed downwards at you, but they do seem wary of you.
Greetings, gentlemen. We're on the ladder already, right? We're looking at him.
You're basically at the base of the ladder, still floating.
Greetings, gentlemen. I was hoping to find the guard, but it seems you guys have found us. If you would just allow us to get up the ladder and we can introduce ourselves.
The guard looks down at the dolphin and says to you, "Us?"
Oh, this is my brother.
They look
Great.
between each other, like scratching their face, they're scratching their heads visibly.
Can I just do like a general charisma check? Because that's not deception or persuasion. I just want to see their response to that.
What are you trying to accomplish?
I just want to tell them that's my brother. And I want to see if they're like, oh, okay.
See, their
Do it.
response would be insight.
Yeah, do it.
Persuasion?
Technically, you're telling the truth.
Yeah, so persuasion?
Just give me a general charisma check.
Alright.
You wink.
Oh yeah, your passive perception's super high. You hear them sort of, they kind of turn to the side and talk to themselves. They're a fair bit away, so Eric's you don't hear as you are still kind of halfway underwater. But Eric's you do. They start arguing about if kobolds like families work this way, because none of them really know. Eventually the argument dies down and the consensus is agreed that you should probably just ask for papers or any sort of business. As the one that seems to have taken charge, he's wearing a somewhat polished armor. It seems to be a breastplate and some just some heavy cloth garments otherwise.
Was I able to climb up the ladder?
You are starting to climb up the ladder, and as you are sort of approaching upwards, the one that seems to be in charge stands in front of the ladder itself and says to you, "Right, your brother. Do you want a rope to get him up here?"
I'll just look down and say, you want to just join me up here? Just make this easier. I don't want to complicate things.
I'll just nod and, wait for Raku to get off my back so I can.
Oh, I was already
Raku is-
climbing the ladder. Yeah.
Yes, Raku has gotten off your back and is on the ladder.
And then I will release the wild shape and climb up.
I think the term you're looking for is undolphin.
De-dolphinize?
Two of the guards just sigh in annoyance, seeing that you guys are magical. As they sort of start to move themselves to sort of isolate this ladder from the rest of the dock. This dock itself is fairly thin, and this ladder seems to be the only thing of interest currently on it at the moment. There are a multitude of other ladders and other docks, as the sort of docking area is fairly well utilized. This one seems to be just utility for basically this. I have a picture of it, and I will. Where is it? Full size image. That is a small image. It will have to do. So, you guys have entered on one of the docks, sort of near the southwestern side. It's one of those sort of small docks that just jut out a little bit. The person who seems to be in charge speaks to you again, saying, "Now that we've got your lineage figured out, what's your business here in the city?"
My name is Voliasi Imana. I am from the founder of the Imana Trading House, and we just wanted to approach before bringing our ship any closer to not create any undue panic. We have recently purchased this vessel, which was a reclaimed.
He kind of holds his hand up. Stop,
Mhm.
stop. You said you're from a merchant company, right?
Yes.
Papers?
I reach into my bag and pull out the crisp cold papers.
He kind of looks at the papers, like wondering why they're so cold, but kind of shakes his head and starts to read it. What exactly do these papers show, in your knowledge?
It shows our crest. The origin is Ilamar Reshman. I don't really know what they're supposed. I'd spent the whole time doing them, so.
Yes.
Uh,
You hear them sort of whispering to each other. He's sort of called one of the other guards over. As far as you know, they haven't really heard of your trading company, but it doesn't seem to change anything. As he turns back to you and he says, "Right, well, this looks to be in order. If you're looking to establish any sort of trade routes in the city, I'll send you somewhere where you can get that done."
I would actually appreciate that. However, our initial meaning for this voyage is to repair this vessel that we had purchased. Like I said, it's a reclaimed pirating vessel, so we came ahead. We didn't want to cause panic due to the adornments or whatever. We still need those removed. But right now, the
salvaged pirate vessel, and what of the previous crew?
we purchased it from the government in Scardale.
Give me a deception check. Is Scardale a name of the city on the map, or did you make that up?
That's a city on the map.
He nods, seems to he seems to take that as it is. Right. Now, what sort of repairs? Are these big repairs or just sort of renovations?
I will have to turn you over to my brother for this. He knows exactly what it is that we need done.
I'll relay the various things. It's we will need both. There is a hole in the side of the ship from an impact that we were able to get the shell out, get the boulder out, but we still need the hole patched up. It's not taking water. It is above the water line. Otherwise, we do need renovations to, remove all of these pirate-affiliated things.
The guard sort of nods and eventually folds your papers back up and gives them back to you. And he tells you, or he speaks to you. He says, "Go to Benane Thrift Hammer. He owns a shift. Sorry,
A shipwright.
Yes, he is a shipwright. His shop, it's not really a shop, it's more of a dry dock. It's towards the east side, and he sort of points over across the harbor to a almost looks to be a warehouse just adjacent to the ocean. And he says his rates are steep, but he does a good job. Otherwise, if you want to do it yourself, there's plenty of materials and contractors who will do it for you, though. From what I've heard, I can't really vouch for their quality.
Well, I'd rather get the professional.
All right. Is there a location that you would rather have us dock the ship as it is? Because we do not want to bring undue stress to the community having such a vessel appearing this way.
I will bring it up. I'll speak to the harbor master and have one of our vessels meet you out and guide you in the spot.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
The vessel itself will be captained by. Oh no, we have two vessels out today. I can't really tell you which, but it'll have the emblem of our city emblazoned on a flag.
Could I ride out with it? While Raku here goes and, or I would have used his name, but
Yeah.
I don't know it.
Yes.
Voliasi.
That. Veliasi?
Can you give me
Voliasi.
Voliasi. Okay,
So
I'll just say
you would have
I
have shared the name before, right, Raku?
Of course I would. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And I've used this persona around them as well.
yeah, so
Okay.
in character Eric's would know it, but instead I'm just going to flat out say, while my brother here goes and makes arrangements with the shipwright.
Okay.
No deception, nothing, just, you know.
All right. Before you guys separate, he says to you, and before we get any further, I won't be having you cause any trouble in this city. You act out, you will be acted upon in accordance with our laws.
Understood, sir.
And curfew for each night is 6 hours past sunset.
Yes,
Okay.
Hi, how are ya?
sorry, I've been gone for about 40 minutes.
Well,
It's like
we-
there's a voice from beyond the grave in here.
great.
Well, while you were gone, unfortunately, the ship burned up and Infel died.
Sad.
Well, bye.
Rok-Rok's heart.
Son of a gun.
Did he actually leave the voice?
Hey, left.
He did.
Get back in here. That son of a bitch. Secondary question for you, Raku. How are you getting back to the ship?
I'm not. I'm going to the shipwright to speak to him before.
Oh, I
while-
thought you said you were going to the ship.
No, Raku's going to the shipwright to make arrangements. And then Eric's will ride back out with the
Harbor
guide
masters.
boat.
Yes.
Yeah. He'll ride back out to meet the ship.
All right.
Yeah, I thought it would be better to go with the trading house persona because I didn't want to just go with a couple adventurer kobolds. Now have a giant flying pirate vessel.
That's a great idea.
I needed a reason for us to have the money.
Also, it gives us a more respectable name to go for, towards for the ship.
Yeah.
Not as opposed to the ass obliterator.
I say we still keep it.
Jeez.
It was between that and the blaster.
Ass blaster.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay, Dova, I have to ask this. Did you actually plan this whole name thing from the start?
Yes.
Okay, can we get to the ship back up and just move on now?
Yes. You go to see the shipwright, Raku, and you, Eric's, follow with the guard. He brings you to a small office adjacent to the docks. The inside is fairly well kept, and it seems that the harbor master is an elven woman. Her name is Eliani, and she seems to be quite junior. She's still learning exactly how this is done. There's very little interaction between you and her, as she basically ignores you, but tells you to follow. Eventually leading to a small sailing ship. She talks with the captain, a rather grizzled human man, and you are on your way back to your vessel in the harbor. Raku, you eventually do make it to the shipwrighting office of Benane Thrifthammer. The doorway is actually rather comfortable for you. It's rather short, but the inside is of normal size. There is a small sort of reception area. It doesn't seem to have very many amenities in it, aside from a few chairs. And a very bored-looking gnomish man sitting at the administrative desk. As you enter, you get a very strange look from him as he sort of lifts his head up from his hand that he was resting it on and sort of straightens his back and speaks to you. Yes. Who are you? Can I help you?
Yes, my name is Voliasi Imana. We were directed here by the guard for as a recommendation for ship repairs.
Yes, wonderful. What's the name of your ship?
It's pending. We just bought it.
You see he scribbles something down. And, is your ship currently in the harbor?
It is being guided in by the guard as we speak.
Wonderful. He doesn't write anything down for that one, but he looks back up at you. What sort of repairs are needing to be done?
I'll give him just like a brief gist of what Eric's talked about, and I'll tell him that I would just like him to do a walkthrough of the ship just to be sure if there's anything that we missed or anything that doesn't really need that done.
Okay. He scribbles down a good bit of material onto the small piece, rather decently sized piece of parchment he has. And as you actually no, you wouldn't be able to look over the desk. It's far too tall. And as he finishes up, he stamps in a few places and folds it up, and he says, as soon as the ship arrives, I will make sure that Master Thrifthammer is available for the initial appraisal. You may wait here if you want. Is your ship like right outside?
As far as I know, it should be here rather soon.
All right. Wait in the waiting area if you want. Or don't come back whenever you want. Are you
Alright.
the owner and captain?
I am the owner of the ship. However, the captain is my brother.
And could you spell that name, please?
For who?
You.
I was saying that out of character because you were talking about
Yes,
the
it
captain
is.
being my brother. Okay.
It is for you.
Yes. That is VULIASSIHMENA.
Mm-hmm. It's good to have new people here. I do know almost everyone in the shipping industry. Well, they come through here very often. I think that's it in regards to what you need to do now. So yes, feel free to wait and read one of the books that we have on offer, I suppose.
Alright, thank you very much.
He nods. And he seems to finish up a little bit more of the paperwork and eventually pulls on a string that's leading down from the ceiling. He has to actually stand on his chair and pull down with both arms. Somewhere off in the distance, you can hear a bell ringing. After about 10 minutes or so, a very, very short dwarf eventually emerges from a door leading into the back. You guess it's into the actual dry dock itself, as you see a vast open space with, along with the drifting in of the smell of tar and wood chips. What's this then? The gnome turns around. New order, sir. As he grabs at the folded piece of parchment and he hands it to the dwarf. The dwarf takes it very roughly, sort of opens it, looks at you in the waiting room, and just kind of stares for a few seconds. Looks back at the paper. I'll be ready for the estimate when it comes in. You keep waiting.
Thank you.
Alright. He heads back out into the dry dock. Alright, Cobalt, you continue to work on your stone golem with the aid of the manual of stone golems. You sort of open the cover and start to look at it, but you don't think you'll be able to get real deep into it yet. The language itself is fairly difficult to decipher. It is in common, but it's very
Technical.
very technical. It's very old-fashioned, and it seems to be written by someone with very little grasp for language in general.
Okay, that makes sense, but I'm still gonna work on my own.
All right. Your harbor vessel eventually does pull up to the intact port side of the ASS Obliterator. And you guys, along with the harbor master, climb aboard. Or not the harbor master, the captain of the guide ship.
All right.
He says to you, Eric's, it's, I don't know if you knew this before, but it's sort of common procedure for a ship pilot from the harbor itself to do the docking.
Of course. In character, would I know that? Out of character, I know that, but...
Yes. In character, you do know that.
Okay. Yeah, that
As
is
he,
a common practice.
as he finds his way to the helm and starts telling you what he needs done. Stuff like the stowing of various objects, bringing in any anchors, in addition to asking you about the general ship's condition and how it acts.
I'll relay the information.
All right. So, over the next roughly hour or so. Sorry, got the yawn. You make it into port. The docking goes rather smoothly, and there is a sizable guard contingent awaiting near the dry dock as you arrive. Eric's, it seems to you that they're making a point to the other kobolds to not make trouble.
I would have already been relaying to the other kobolds. Not that I don't think they really need it at this point, but yeah, I would have been making sure that they know.
All right. So, in the crowd, sort of pushing through, and you can see as the guards are just getting pushed aside by a very stout, short dwarf. Raku, actually, you didn't see him walk out. The gnomish shopkeeper kind of looks around for a moment, trying to remember something. And he eventually kind of snaps his fingers and says, I'm not sure, but I think Benane left. I heard a door somewhere. I think that was him. You might want to go check on him near the dock. He has a habit of, well, just kind of going without bringing the customer.
Okay, just point the way.
He kind of jumps down from his rather high chair, opens the door, and literally points basically straight down the street. The street itself is adjacent to both this giant warehouse that serves as the dry dock, in addition to the port itself. And you can see a rather large crowd of guards formed up in front of the docking area of your ship.
All right, I will go that way.
All right. The shipwright, the rather heavy, stout dwarf, basically strolls onto your ship, a bit of parchment in his hand, as he basically just looks around, hands on his hips, and he stares at the large crater in the middle of the deck, and he shakes his head. He looks around almost angrily and sees you up near the tiller. By the way, the harbor pilot has left by this time. He's just kind of walked away. You up there. What happened here?
I assume
As
he's
he
talking
looks
to
towards
me.
you, Eric's. Yes, he was looking and pointing at you.
I'm not sure what happened. It got hit, I'm guessing, by a cannon or something. There was a giant boulder inside that we managed to get out, but yeah, as you can see, we kind of need it fixed.
Uh-huh. As he continues to basically look around wordlessly, every so often kicking at the floorboards, grabbing onto the railing and trying to almost tear it off. Eventually he goes below decks and spends a very long time down there. And actually you hear the almost like an angry yell, sort of mixed with a bit of surprise.
I
Mix
would
it
have
up.
been following him.
Okay. When he comes to the hole in the side of the ship, he sort of the best explanation I have is he yells out an alarm and just sort of holds his hands out, like making knife hands towards the hole. What in the fuck did you do?
We got the boulder out?
The boulder.
Yeah, it was a giant stone.
Why is there a boulder in the side of the ship?
Well,
And
there
who
isn't
designed
now.
the ship anyways? It's awful.
Am I over there with them? No?
Yes, you've made it on and you've sort of caught up to the shipwright.
Like,
Shy
it was
Little Muffin, that's
explained-
actually pretty great. A pretty great comparison. They say, sounds like someone ate something they were expecting to be in the fridge. I do that same angry yell. It does kind of sound the same, doesn't it?
I'm just gonna be like I said, we purchased this boat reclaimed, so we were directed here. We don't know what happened to it. We just need it fixed.
And he seems speechless at this point. Like, frankly, this is the worst boat I've ever seen. It's like it's barely designed to be on the water at all.
Does the
Are you? Where did you buy this?
Have you mentioned that it's...
How much did you actually spend on
is it not obvious that it's an airship? I'm sure there's giant turbines on the side.
No, actually.
Wait, have they not noticed the turbines, or?
It does not actually seem so.
This is... It can be used for seafaring, but this is an airship.
He seems almost taken aback by this. As he looks around further and actually walks back outside and looks again at some of the fins that are on the outside. There's no actual turbines.
Well, I'd hope that there was no turbines. I wanted turbines.
Come on now.
Are you sure they're not on the roof?
Stop it.
I mean, that is kind of where a turbine would normally be.
And it's turbine on the...
Or turbine. How I'm doing it.
He looks at the shape of the vessel, and he just sort of like dangles over the edge, like looking down, and he says, "You know, that makes sense. Why is this on the water? Why didn't you?" I would have.
It's currently not airworthy, and we have to go to a city to the far north in order to fix those, so we just need to see worthy to get it there.
To be precise, we haven't actually tried going into the air with it. It's more of a... We didn't want to try it until we had somebody look at it that knew a bit more.
As he's like just thinking and almost running through numbers in his head. Right. 5,000 gold for repairs. It'll take probably 2.5 weeks.
Is there any chance you could find out who did make it so we can go there to get the airship portion looked at, or do you know?
Well, do you have the registration?
Might be in the captain's quarters.
Check the glove box.
We weren't exactly able to ask the previous crew, as, you know, they were pirates.
That's understandable. Still, they might have kept records.
I mean, we were out of character. We were connected with Ayastal. Is there any chance we could have possibly kind of, gleaned that information out of her?
It's not really anything that she talked about.
She didn't have to talk. We were literally linked in our minds.
It's also not something that you took the time to actually learn. It doesn't just like all happen at once. It's more of whatever you think about, everyone else knows about.
Yeah, fair enough.
Why can I not find Callum Shannon's map? Oh, gee. I wonder if it's in the Callum Desert.
The giant region there?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Just wondering where it was. So, you guys gonna look?
Look at what, the town?
Well, I mean that. Also, you could go do that. The crowd of guards has mostly dispersed. It seems that was probably a show of force.
Okay, so airships themselves were actually primarily from Hauruan? There was a closely guarded secret for many years. They could sail on water as well as any seafaring craft, and could not be sunk as long as their underlying magic was intact. Apparently Hauruan is... there it is. Its southern portion. South coast, slightly to the east of where we are right now.
In the region of Halrua.
Yeah.
Alright, there is a town named Halra.
Apparently... I guess there's something called a Spelljammer vessel, but they are not normally that. And they were called skyships.
Yes, that's
They actually
from
look
a
really
different.
cool.
That's from a different setting.
No, this is Forgotten Realms.
Later, and in the Spelljammer setting. That's a separate thing.
Oh.
Regardless, are any of you actually going to look for the registration?
I will go
shipwright
to
is
the-
sort of just staring at you expectingly.
Yes, I will head off to the captain's quarters where I would assume they would be.
Yes, we weren't given any paperwork on the vessel in that way, but we can see if it already had some or if they just forgot and left in the captain's quarter. My brother will check.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check, Eric's.
Terrible.
You don't find any registration. It seems that there is no paper trail from what you can tell. There's very little paper that's actually kept. There is a receipt for repairs that were done. There were some repairs done to the steering gear in Calimport a few years ago.
Okay. Well,
As that's about as much as you can gather as to its origins.
okay.
Are you gonna bring that back?
Yeah, I will bring it back. This is all we were able to find.
Okay. He kind of grabs the papers and nods, saying, there are some heard of some very good shipwrights living in Caliport. But I can't fix any of the airworthiness aspects. I can only do the seaworthiness.
Well, that is what we're asking for.
Yes.
And
10,000 gold in 2.5 weeks.
You just said 5,000.
Split the difference. 6,000.
Then do a good job.
He looks to you, like hands still on his hips.
I look back at him and raise an eyebrow.
I fully will intend to.
Much appreciated.
As he sort of brings the sheet of parchment that he's been making small notes on. He hands it to you, Eric's. Actually, no, he would hand it to Raku. And you note that where it says ship's name, it's actually been named the Pending.
Oh, I like that, actually.
Oh,
You say depending or the pending?
The Pending.
That's what I thought.
The thing itself is sort of a charter of what is going to be done, in addition to the terms laid out. Before he handed it to you, he seems to have written in the actual price, as none was written in before, and it says 6,000 gold pieces. Upon completion of this, the vessel will be returned to the owner in with the issues to be fixed being done so properly. And listed below is a number of things that need to be fixed, most of which, like the cost of materials, are going to that giant hole in the side. There's also a lot of smaller things. In the inspection, he found the some of the shutters covering the cannons needed repairs. The deck needs repairs, and some of the sails are tattered and need replacement.
Okay.
There is indeed a line for you to sign on, Raku, that you agree to these charges, and basically saying, yes, I want these repairs to be done.
yeah, I signed that. Making sure I sign as Viliasi.
Alright, you do so. He takes the paper, tears off a little bit, which seems to have a number as well as the name of the ship, which has been penned in by him. It also contains the address of the shipwright, as well as almost like a business card, like stating the Benane's shipwright business does things very, very well in this city, and to recommend this service to your friends.
Right.
As you receive basically the ticket stub, he says to you, right, so we'll have this ship moved into dry dock by nightfall. I really do advise you find some place for your crew to stay. We have a good deal with a hotel in town. I'm sorry, with an inn.
I was gonna say.
It's like a hotel. Yeah, this is the wrong era.
All right. Anything I should bring to the inn to let them know that you brought me here, or brought me there?
That ticket stub.
All right.
as he kind of points to the little scrap of parchment in your hand.
All right, thank you very much.
The
We
name
will-
of the tavern is Brownlay's Best.
All
It's,
right.
it's near the center of the city. There's a large plaza adjacent to it. As he basically points almost dismissively, just follow this road until it leads into a large tower with a windmill on it. Take a right and it should be on your left, about 2 blocks down.
Okay, we will head off.
Alright. As you lead your gaggle of kobolds off into the city, you're followed by a few guards. Not very many, maybe 3 at most. They seem to just be watching from a distance. The city itself is rather nice to your standards. It's a lot better than the lower district in Baldur's Gate, but it's still quite a ways below the upper district. There are homeless people kind of strewn everywhere. The streets smell somewhat funky, but not overly caustic, almost. And there's just this overbearing sense of sort of unease. You can't tell whether that's the city itself or the storm clouds, which are just now sort of reaching the harbor. The wind is picking up from the west, and the sky has darkened considerably. Walking through the streets, you eventually do reach Broodlay's Best. It is a rather looks homely building with red bricks and sort of wood siding. Proceeding inwards, the interior it's cozy. It's not very clean nor orderly, but it's nice. As soon as you enter, you're just blasted with a very heavy scent of fish, you think? Fish and a very sort of almost like a spicy lemony scent. You also smell the familiar scent of alcohol and frying meats. As you enter, it's not very busy as it's currently still working hours, so not many people are here. You're greeted by a rather large woman. She's fairly plump with blonde hair that's been braided. It almost reaches the floor. She's wearing a fairly, not really revealing, but it accentuates her bust dress with a corset. As you enter, she is currently bringing back some empty mugs to the kitchen, it seems like. Oh! We have customers! Greetings, how are you? Quiet ones?
Well, sorry. Oh no, we're doing good. We just came into port to fix our ship, and we were recommended to come here.
Ah, yes, Benane sent you, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Wonderful, wonderful. Fine. Do get comfortable. I'll be with you in 1 second. As she bustles into the back room, the doors swinging open and closed, squeaking rather loudly. you've gathered quite a bit of attention from the tavern goers themselves. There's a table full of halflings which are currently just watching almost at unease. There's also a table of half-orcs who seem to be just completely disregarding you. One of them actually has a number of what look to be live eels on a plate. They're currently writhing and almost trying to escape, but the very high sides of the bowl prevent it from doing such.
Taste.
Sorry?
The tasty.
Oh yeah. Cobalt, did you leave once the ship entered port?
No, I mean not unless
Sorry?
Infel. Not unless Infel left, because I'm pretty sure we're hanging out.
So Infel, Rok-Rok, and Cobalt, what are you guys doing?
Rok-Rok, ship by himself, and he's going to look for a shop.
He's gonna look for a shop? Alright.
He's going to look for two types of shops, actually.
You would know that Cobalt and Infel are still in the mansion at the current time, if you want to tell them.
Broke out again.
Infel and Cobalt are currently on the ship at the current time, if you want to tell them
Okay.
you're leaving, or that you're in port.
Yeah, Rok-Rok's off by himself.
Okay.
Are you even gonna tell us?
Nope, he's just up and left.
Alright.
Well,
What kind of shop are you looking for?
I'm looking for a magic shop, and I'm going to look for a bookshop.
Okay.
Yeah,
there
I'll be going with him too.
Okay. There is not currently a magic shop in this city. The best you can find is a pawn shop called the Ring of Coins, but after looking in there briefly, they don't seem to have any interesting magical items. Very, stuff that wouldn't be very applicable to you, like a scraper that's very, very good at cleaning barnacles.
A mop that's always mopping.
No, not necessarily. A mop that just cleans really well. There's not really any blatant magical in it. It's better. Nothing that would really interest you.
Ah, okay. And then, so he would leave disappointed, and then go off to a bookstore.
Okay.
I also want to stop by an armorer. Or
Okay.
maybe yeah.
Again, best place would probably be that same pawn shop. Who's that? That was Infel.
Infel.
I believe they were muted.
I would like to. I would prefer if at least one of us stayed on the ship in the mansion.
Oh, Rok-Rok's going back to the ship, to the mansion, after he's done his shopping.
Just, for a guard.
Oh yeah, no, he wasn't going to leave that thing unattended.
You would, but yes, you would not really find an armorer or actually the the Ring of Coins is actually probably the best place to shop just in town, period. It's a very, very industrious town, not very high on the sort of mercantile list.
Damn.
And most of the commerce just goes straight through to different companies here, I believe.
All right. Is there? Jeez, because this map looks like this is a huge
Oh, I'm
place,
sorry.
but it sucks.
I'm sorry, I've been reading this wrong. So, also, it's very hot in my room and I'm starting to sweat. And you guys are going to be done in 1 hour, so... Oh my god. No wonder. I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Oh?
So, there's a lot of trading houses. The trading houses themselves don't deal directly with, you know, like, interesting items. It's more of bulk goods. That's where most of this city's income comes from, as far as you can tell. In regards to private goods, there still is a fairly limited amount of selection. There still is the Ring of Coins, which is actually somewhat like a fairly large operation. Yes, it's kind of like a fantasy Walmart.
I was gonna say at Costco, but okay.
Costco, yes. That's a much better explanation. It's fairly vertical, having 3 underground levels as well as 2 above ground levels. There doesn't seem to be a shopkeeper, like a singular guy, but it seems to be a team of employees watching the wares, making sure that thieves don't make off with the goods, as well as making sure people can find what they need.
I'm gonna go. I guess I'll go eat some of the samples.
There are actually small samples. It's more set up towards the bulk food. Like they're selling rice, wheat, and corns, dried meat, preserved jars of various vegetables, fruits, all sorts of preserves. You know, salted meat, some hardtack, some good bread, some actual, like, you'd say maybe 7 out of 10 bread. And you're giving it a lot of credit due to the fact that it is sort of mass produced in a way. And you would find a very, very small sort of magical item, almost like a department. It's a separate room, a separate sort of facility that's fairly heavily reinforced.
Now this is making me think of like Guitar Center,
Uh,
where it's all one store, but there's still like doors within it.
yes. Leading into different sections of
Yeah.
different types of goods.
All right, I want to wander through the magical stuff.
All right. You find a small amount of sort of utility ones that might interest you. There's still the items that are going to not interest you and more be of use for sailors or peasants. But there are the ones that are actually somewhat interesting. There's a small selection of enchanted weaponry. Mostly there, and by mostly I mean there's like 5 weapons in a protected rack behind the looks to be the cashier's counter. It seems that there is actually a bow. Looks like a dagger, 2 long swords, and a warhammer. As far as the smaller sort of the small goods, basically in a glass case that serve as the counter almost. There's a small ring. There's what looks to be almost like a chamber pot. There's a sewing needle. There's a small amulet. What looks to be like a funnel on that amulet. There's a small sculpture of a cat. There's
Are
it's
there
kinda like
placards that say what they are, or do I have to ask someone?
yes, there are descriptions of kind of what they are.
What's the ring?
The ring itself is a ring of
Protection.
no, a ring of the dawn. What it does is it basically gives a perspective of time to miners and other people who are maybe below decks for long periods of time. When it is daytime, it alerts the wearer.
What
Say
about
how it alerts them.
Yeah, what about that amulet?
That amulet is it says that it amplifies the wearer's voice to rather loud levels.
That's not necessary.
Hmm.
I would be interested in longbows if I could use longbows. Or if I was proficient, but I am not.
I thought rogues were proficient in long.
It's short bows.
Maybe try to
Longbow
find.
is a large weapon, anyways.
Oh,
How much
Sorry,
is that
heavy.
amulet?
That amulet itself is 50 gold pieces.
I'll take that amulet.
All right. I'll go ahead and add an item.
Any armor?
Armor. There is actually a shield.
Oh.
And the shield, it says that it's designed to catch arrows.
Well, I don't fire arrows.
How much is the shield? No, wait, that may
Uh,
need attunement. Well, I don't really get shot with an arrow.
Still figuring this out.
Okay.
Damn, I would have to have some pretty rare armor to actually beat out my 18 DC. Because the highest I can get with armor right now is 17. I just want like a ring or a cloak of protection that gives me an AC. That'd be great.
All right, go ahead and take away 50 gold. Rok-Rok.
Already did.
All right. All right, I've added it. As a service, it is already identified for you. It is called the Speaking Amulet. And it is way down there on your inventory. It's literally at the very bottom.
Yeah, I see it.
So, shield.
Yep.
The shield itself has a price tag of 3,200 gold.
Hmm. And what does it exactly do, mechanically wise?
Mechanically wise, it gives you a +1 bonus to AC against ranged attacks. In addition, whenever a creature makes a ranged attack against a target within 5 feet of you, you can use a reaction to become the target of the attack.
Could be useful. Is it range attack or just melee range?
It is. Hold on. Sorry, what'd you say?
I said, is it just like any type of range attack or just melee range?
It is any sort of melee attack. Or, sorry, a ranged attack. However, the target of that ranged attack has to be within 5 feet of you for you to try to catch it. So you use your reaction to become the target of that missile.
And the +1 would be for any type of range attack?
Yes.
That could include spells. That could be useful. Yeah, I'll take that shield.
Alright. I believe it was priced at 3,900.
Is there? I want to. No, never mind. He wouldn't know how to do that.
Alright.
I was gonna haggle it down, but his haggling is threatening.
Go ahead and make a, or sorry, go ahead and take that gold away.
All right.
It does require attunement.
All right. I'll have it on me, and I'll figure out the attunement later.
All right.
Does the speaking amulet require attunement?
No.
Okay, cool.
So yeah,
What's the shield called?
the arrow catching shield.
Right, I was looking at it in my inventory, but I don't see it.
Sorry, I'll add it.
Oh, okay.
Crap, I didn't identify it. Money pouch, room, bag of holding.
It was at the very. It's at the bottom. Says unidentified item.
There we go.
All right, cool.
So, Raku and Rok-Rok, you're currently shopping right now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Eric's, Cobalt, and Infel, you are... Or Cobalt and Infel, you're currently inside the mansion. Eric's, you are currently inside the tavern.
Did Rok-Rok come back?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
I'm going to look for a bookstore.
All right.
That's where we were heading. Also.
Yes. So, since we're basically going to just be doing town stuff, I'm going to say this right away. You have 2.5 weeks of downtime. There are downtime rules in Xanathar's Guide to Everything if you want to take a look at those. And I think we're going to be doing that basically just off camera.
Yeah, that would be
So-
preferred.
Yeah, so next session we're going to be picking up where we left off in 2.5 weeks' time when the airship is, I mean, not really airship right now, but when the ship is repaired. The ASS Obliterator.
Thought it was
I'm
pending.
sorry. Yes, it is the pending now. And yes, well, just message me during the week, and I'll make sure to get your downtime things taken care of and narrated properly in the next session. Or just in the intro. I do apologize for the somewhat boring session, but now that the exciting mech fight is over, I guess there
There's
does
gold to
have to be
spend.
some boring stuff. Yeah.
We just
You
need
have all
to
this
be
gold
able
to
to spend it.
Yeah, now that the fight's ended, there's gold.
Well, we're gonna need this gold for later getting our supplies and such for actually setting up our city.
That too.
But otherwise, I mean, we can
You guys
still
are really well off right now.
very well. We've got plenty that we can. I mean, there's a lot of traveling. Just maybe find some things off the coast that we can take a look at and explore and stuff.
Yes.
So, anyways, we are ending Dova.
Yes, that is it. That is all I have.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, Oh, you're doing it. Never mind.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. You can see my schedule scrolling on the screen on the left there. Do come back and join me again. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing some Tower Unite, though it is probably going to be delayed. Thank you to all my patrons, donators, and subscribers. All of you really help out a lot and keep me making this content. It helps out a lot. And otherwise, thank you to Dova for DMing.
Of course.
And thank you all for joining us this evening for Rooms and Reptiles, Dungeons and Dragons. Check the description on the channel. Remember to follow and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Hit the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And otherwise, I bid you all adieu.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
See you next week.
Bye-bye!